Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. And we have Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer. And today we're talking all about healing your body. If you've tried all the diets and you still have pain and inflammation, maybe you are tired, you have no energy, you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you know your body is telling you it's time to put you first, then today's episode is for you. So welcome, Jane.
Well, Chantel, thank you so much for having me here. I love talking about pain and talking about getting over pain, right? Because that's really what we want to do and live our life to the fullest again.
Well, I have a lot of listeners know I have psoriatic arthritis, and I know that you had at one point rheumatoid arthritis, and I want to know how you reverse rheumatoid arthritis naturally, because I actually, I finally, because my arthritis was getting so bad, I finally went to the doctor, and he was like, Chantel, you really need to get on methotrexate. You need to get on this and get on that. And I just looked at him and I was like, there is no chance. I literally do not even take Tylenol when I'm in massive amounts of pain. So I probably take Tylenol. I used to say I take it about 4 times a year. I would say I'm probably up to about 10 times a year, which is not even once a month. Considering how much pain I'm in, I'm just such an anti-medicine person. So I want to hear about your story. How did you reverse rheumatoid arthritis naturally?
I totally get you because I never wanted to take anything. I mean, I didn't know what it was in the beginning. It just came on very suddenly after a lot of stress. Within 3 months, I was, went from healthy and strong and vibrant to barely able to walk, not able to make a fist, no grip strength, and really just kind of wanting to be done because I didn't know what was going on. But once I found out, I got the diagnosis, it was rheumatoid arthritis. I was already kind of trying some natural things because my doctor told me, my allopathic doctor had told me that foods could sometimes be linked to joint pain. I was like, what? Food? What kind of food? How does that affect your joints? I mean, this was 7 years ago, so we were talking about that quite as much then. So I started with foods, and it really helped a lot. Gluten, dairy, sugar. I just cut them out cold turkey, and it did help reduce the inflammation a lot in the beginning. And so I was like, okay, now I'm empowered, right? There's something I can do. And I started learning more about functional medicine and so on. Just like you, the doctors were saying, you have to take methotrexate. And I was like, I read, like you have probably read the side effects. And I'm like, I don't want to go that route unless I have to. So I just kind of started working with a whole lot of lifestyle changes. But it really wasn't until I really addressed some of it, like regulating my nervous system, what was going on in my brain, what kind of subconscious belief patterns did I have. I had a whole lot of that I worked on. So we can unpack as much of that as you want to.
Yeah. So first, before we go there, I want to talk about just your healing journey as far as your quest for health. You said you cut out gluten, cut out dairy, and cut out sugar. So give me kind of a day in the life of, first of all, is there anything else that you cut out? That's a huge, huge cut, is the dairy, the gluten, and the sugar. But do you eat coconut sugar? Do you have fruit? Kind of talk about what is the day in the life of your eating look like?
Well, really now, I mean, I went through all those elimination diets and things like that. And I actually developed orthorexia, like a fear of I can only eat healthy food or else I'm going to have a flare. And I feel like that actually causes stress, and stress results in inflammation. It causes a chemical cascade in our body, resulting in inflammation. So I think whatever you do, you need to come at it from a loving and a peaceful kind of way, and eat peacefully, love what you're eating while you're eating it. So there's all of that. But in terms of a day in the life now, I just really focus on eating quality food, eating real food. I hardly eat anything that comes from a package, not very much. And I check the ingredients really carefully. And I still don't really eat gluten. I can have some dairy now. It doesn't bother me too much. Like I don't have sugar, but I do have some fruit, but I really don't eat a ton of fruit. I tend to think of it more like a treat as opposed to, the main thing. The main star is really vegetables. And then the proteins, quality proteins. So I really try to have like the grass-fed, the wild and pasture, that kind of thing.
You mentioned this orthorexia, and for those of you who have never heard that term, I love that term. And if you've never heard of it, it's basically an obsession with eating foods that you think are healthy. So if you think they're healthy, and then if at any time you, let's say, go to a party and you're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing healthy for me to eat. I'm starving. I can't eat this. Now you're just stressing about it. You start looking at other people. If they're eating anything unhealthy, you're like, kind of giving them the evil eye. And I don't think we talk about that enough, but I think it's actually what you just said was really powerful, because I wouldn't say that I have orthorexia. But I would say that because I know that if I eat something that doesn't align with me, like God forbid I had gluten, I feel so bad that it's just not worth it for me. Like I literally feel so sick. And, the last couple of days I haven't been feeling well. And I think it's because I've been adding a little bit of dairy back in. And when you're not eating gluten, you're not eating dairy. I think I just was eating a little bit too much fruit, a little bit of dairy. And it is what it is. Like, I just have to say to myself, my body just doesn't do well with it. So it's like, I'm not feeling good. Well, it's kind of like self-inflicted, because it's like, I'm the one who put the dairy in my body, knowing darn well, I don't feel good if I eat it.
Yeah. And, don't beat yourself up about it, right? It's just like, be kind to yourself and say, okay, well, this is a learning lesson for me, right? That those don't serve me right now. And I should say too, Chantel, that when I was more inflamed than I'm not inflamed now, but when I was inflamed, and when it's active, we probably have some leaky gut summer part of the time, which means we are automatically going to be inflamed by certain foods and foods that we're eating, because the immune system gets triggered, right? As with leaky gut, because the foods that you're eating leak in, and your immune system is like, what is this? And starts to, mount a campaign. So when you are inflamed, like when you're trying to heal, I think you need to be a little bit more careful about what you're having. But know that it's not going to be forever. So that's the thing. It's a for now thing. So for now, the best thing for me is to eat the foods that I know serve me well, right? So and sort of really, really feeling compassion and love for yourself, and also for your body, that it's giving you a message. Right? It's all information. So that's another reason why I never like to have the painkillers either, is because pain is information, and it's a way your body communicates with you. So if you try to stifle that and cover it up, then you're missing out on the information. So I kind of see it as information. So like almost, it's hard to be thankful for pain, I know, but almost feel like grateful that your body's giving you a signal. Right? It's giving you a signal, and it's trying to speak in the language that it knows you'll pay attention to.
You guys, I'm so excited. We are doing a free masterclass for you. It's actually on nontoxicfamily.com/masterclass. That's nontoxicfamily.com/masterclass. And it's going to be all about how to get rid of your gut infections, how to get rid of parasites. If you have painful digestion, if you're suffering from poor sleep, If you've got constant exhaustion, massive joint pain, or skin issues, then you need to get rid of the parasites that are holding your body hostage. I'm going to tell you right now, you're thinking, I don't have parasites. I don't have parasites. Yes, you do. I have Crystal with me. Crystal, tell them your joke.
Yeah. If you have a pulse, then you have a parasite or more. And the thing about parasites is they're sneaky. And even if they came back negative on a stool test that you did before, that doesn't matter. They can still be present. And so on this masterclass, we're going to teach you all the tips and tricks that you might have heard of but didn't know how to use, like diatomaceous earth, pumpkin seed protocols, garlic and berberine and black walnut, because you can't do all of these things, but you need to select a few that work for you. So we're going to go through all of that in this masterclass.
All right. And my son created a new site. It's called Non-Toxic Family. And if you're not following, go to nontoxicfamilynow.com or on Facebook, go to Non-Toxic Family. You'll see my son. He does all these great videos on how to be healthy. They're really great. And we actually put the free masterclass on this site. So it's nontoxicfamily.com/masterclass and sign up for free. Look forward to seeing you guys. So tell me, what are some of the things practically that people can do to live pain-free? Like, give us some practical things. We know, break up with sugar, get rid of gluten, get rid of dairy. Let's say someone's already done that. What are some other practical tips that you teach?
Yeah, a lot of people that come to me have already done those things and they're still in pain, and like they're going, why? And that's where I was too. Why? I've done all the things, that I've taken the supplements. I've got a supplement graveyard, and I, did all the diets and everything. So, I mean, really a big part of it is nervous system regulation, as I said. So the nervous system can be in one of two states. Basically, it's the fight, flight, fear state, which is the sympathetic state, or the rest and digest repair state, which is the parasympathetic state. We cannot heal unless we're in that parasympathetic state. So I kind of think of it as anything you can do throughout the day that gets yourself into a relaxed state is going to help. It could be just sitting down and thinking about what you're grateful for. It could be, appreciating something that you're seeing outside. It could be just noticing your breath. It could be meditation. It could be dancing if you like dancing, or whatever, art, whether singing. So anything that makes you feel relaxed. I kind of think of it, Chantel, like if you've got a whole day, we want to make a completely full pearl necklace. So we try to fit as many of those pearls in as we can throughout the day. And then eventually you'll have a full necklace, which is when you're in that relaxed state and the body can heal in that state. So our job is to really get ourselves in a state of mind that's going to allow the nervous system to relax. And there's other tools as well. I mean, you probably heard, there's tons, right? Tapping is another way to relax the nervous system, massage, Tai Chi, Qigong, all these yoga. There's different ways, but everybody's different as well. So you find the things that work for you and just try to get yourself into that state as much as possible. And that's probably like one of the most powerful things.
I love what you said about, like, if you want to heal, you need to practice those techniques to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and lower that stress. So when this weekend, it's so funny. My husband took me on a little retreat down at the beach. We did like a staycation.
Oh,
I got 3 massages in a 24-hour period because we went to the spa and then kind of had dinner and then went back to the spa. He's like, you've just got to relax, Chantel. And one of the things that the massage therapist said to me, he was one of these like very like into breathing. And so he kept like breathing with me. Like, I don't know if you've ever gone and get a massage and like he was actually breathing, and he would breathe and like trying to get me to breathe. And we were done with the massage, and he said to me, He said, you breathe like a scared squirrel. That's what he said to me. And I started laughing and I was like, oh my gosh. And it just stuck with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really do need to work on my breathing. So do you have some like breathing techniques so people don't sound or they don't breathe like a scared squirrel?
Oh my gosh, I teach breath work, right? Because it's such a powerful tool. So yeah, people in pain tend to breathe shallow, right? And breathe quickly. And then that activates the sympathetic state of the nervous, that fight flight state, right? When we're breathing up here and we're not breathing down low. So yes, I love to teach breath work. So the most basic thing to start with is just trying to belly breathe. So just depending on where people are. So the little trick that I love for belly breathing, Chantel, is to start with an exhale. Because I was like you, I was a chest breather, and people would say, breathe into your belly. I'm like, I can't, I can't get there. I didn't know how to get there. So just put your hands on your belly.
Okay.
And then exhale and pull your belly back towards your spine as you exhale.
Okay.
Now inhale, push the belly out.
Oh no. You mean inhale to blow your belly out? Because when I would think, say it again, because I think I'm getting confused. Exhale, right?
Exhale as you pull your belly back towards your spine. Now inhale, inflate your belly like a balloon.
Oh, and
exhale, push the belly back towards the spine. So it's like coming in, right? So exhale, inhale, exhale.
that makes sense. I've never thought of it that way. I think I'm doing it reverse. Now that you showed me that, now if you're listening to this, you guys need to watch it, because I think I've always been, when I inhale, I actually suck my stomach in. And what you're saying is to do the opposite.
Exactly.
So when you're inhaling, you should be blowing, your stomach should pop out. Wow. No wonder I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
Oh my gosh, this could have just changed your life.
No wonder why he said I was a scared squirrel.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that is so funny, because I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Probably because I don't breathe. In general, I don't spend a lot of time with breathing exercises. So what do you suggest to people as far as like how long they're breathing? Like just in general, I mean, you can't just, do breath work all day, right?
No.
So what would you say is like a reasonable amount of time to do breath work, and any tips on that?
I love that question. So yeah, we need to change habits, right? So habits take practice, right? Because you've got to build in the muscle memory, because you've got a muscle memory now that's opposite, right, of what you want. So my suggestion is usually to start with, if you can, 3 minutes, 3 times a day. So just set a timer for 3 minutes. If you can't do 3 minutes, do like 10 breaths, something like that. So, but just set a time when you're going to practice. And all habits are easier when you have a something that you already do that triggers you to do this. So something you're already doing, and then it will trigger you to do this. So if you eat 3 times a day, maybe you do it right before you eat. And that's a great time to do it, because you're getting yourself into the rest and digest state, right? To help you digest your food so that you can absorb your nutrients. So you could do it 3 times right before you eat. Or another great time to do it is like when you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed, because you can do it lying down. Put your hands on your belly, lying down. You really feel the movement of your belly, and just do it for like 10 breaths or so. And then, during one meal or right before one meal. And then again, when you go to bed at night, when you're lying down before you go to sleep, and it'll help relax your mind too, right? Rest, digest. So it helps prepare your mind for sleep. So 3 times a day. I'd love to give your audience a gift if you want it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I sent you a link already, but I can send you a link for a gift for.
I can put it in the show notes. I can put it in the show notes. That'd be great.
So I'd like to give you and your audience a gift. It's a little 5-day course on breathing for healing, and I teach the basics of belly breathing, and then breathing, counted breath, and then a heart focused breathing as well.
Wow. Let me talk to you about kind of the biggest trend that I'm seeing right now. And it's talking about taping your mouth at night when you go to sleep. And so all these people are like, look, I'm getting the best sleep ever. And all I'm doing, I'm waking up more refreshed and energized. And all I'm doing is mouth taping. And what they're doing is literally putting tape across their mouth. There's these different brands. I think there's one called Hostage Tape and all these different ones. And their whole idea is that mouth breathing is the root of all evil. And that it sounds weird when you think about it, but that your body actually is a fan of nose breathing. And they kind of say nose breathing rocks, mouth breathing sucks. And that is kind of the best way. And you need kind of a strong, comfortable mouth tape that you can put on. Have you tried it, or what's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. I talk about that as well. So yeah, this is just a 3M micro pore tape. And it's not going to stay on, it'll come off if you need it to come off. But this is another muscle memory thing. The nose helps filter the air. It pressurizes the air the right way. It gets it at the right temperature. And also, when you breathe through your nose, you make nitric oxide, which dilates. It dilates your blood vessels. It dilates the airway, so you actually get more oxygen. So it's way more efficient to breathe in through your nose and through your mouth. So this is a huge thing. It actually changes the structure of your mouth, your palate, and everything. So that's another thing people could try. So if you may know that you're a mouth breather, if you snore, if you wake up with a dry mouth, then that could be a sign that you're mouth breathing. So yeah, just kind of practice putting it over your mouth and you go to sleep, and then it will help you breathe. Now, obviously, if someone's got a long way to go, if they may not be able to do that, but it's something to try for sure. But just consciously breathing through your nose throughout the day. If you notice that your mouth is open, close your mouth. I try to even run and do exercise with my mouth closed, and it's almost like training at altitude because it's forcing your body to create more oxygen. And so you get way more oxygen breathing through your nose.
Well, yeah. And I feel like the one thing for me is I do get a dry mouth at night. And so I've heard that mouth taping will decrease your dry mouth. So you aren't searching for water like you're in the Sahara Desert. And it also improves your dental health. So I have not tried it yet. This is my new hack that I'm going to try, and I'm going to say, so do you do it every night or some nights?
I don't do it every night now. And I'm not a mouth breather, so I didn't really feel like I needed to. But I think in some ways, even the fact that you go to bed, you put this on, it's kind of just creating that awareness that would help you throughout the day as well to, remind your body would get used to breathing through the nose more than the mouth. But I'm looking at you right now. Your mouth is closed, right? So you're breathing through your nose, which is good.
Yeah. So just practicing that each day then, right? Every day kind of saying, okay, how can I do this more?
Yeah. I mean, we sometimes just need tools to help us get out of the habits that aren't serving us the best. But we're breathing anyway, right? So why not use the breath to help you get out of pain? And it sounds funny, but I also teach like breathing techniques to lower pain in specific areas of the body too, just by using your imagination and imagining the breath is kind of going through that area. That's every time I do that with people, they say, "Oh my gosh, I don't like my pain." I get them to rate their pain out of 10 before and then afterwards, and it always drops down, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. So give us some of the top techniques that you suggest to people to activate their parasympathetic nervous system. Would you say, like, obviously there's so many. I know for me, some of the ones that I do is number one is getting a massage or taking a hot bath or putting on relaxing music, maybe going in the sauna, stretching could do it for me. Maybe I've tried a little bit of acupuncture, um, and that's been kind of helping, or maybe kind of like writing in a journal. Is there any that you would say, like, these are kind of the top 3 or 5 things that really help reduce stress?
Mm. I think the breath is number one because you've always got it with you, right? It's absolutely portable. So I love starting with the breath. And then visualizations, like kind of monitoring what you're thinking about, right? So visualizations of like calm and peace, things like that are helpful. And how do you talk to yourself? So this monitoring your thoughts. How do you talk to yourself? What's that little voice? You've always got that running commentary kind of voice going. So sometimes you want to stop that just to have like a peace and stillness. So you can do that with the breath, with meditation, but also changing those. So the one thing I used to do in the beginning when I was really, rheumatoid arthritis is not the greatest diagnosis, right? There's supposedly no cure. And so I could really go into a fear state just even thinking about that. So I used to use affirmations a lot and say things like, "I'm a healing machine. I'm just getting started. Every day in every way, my body is healing. I am an example of what's possible." So I had all these health affirmations that I used to say over and over again. And then I was like reprogramming my mind too, because our subconscious mind creates and runs our body. So, because I say create because our cells are turning over all the time, but those cells are all listening to, is it safe or is it not safe? So I have to keep giving messages of safety. So that's another one. Gosh, there's so many. You mentioned music, and that is beautiful as well. I love music that's calming, or even music that makes me want to dance. For me, dancing is a fun thing, right? And tapping is another really useful tool. Have you talked about tapping on your show before?
No, I haven't. But one thing that someone mentioned to me that she said was really powerful, and I've never tried it, is ear seeds. Have you ever tried ear seeds? Do you know what that is?
I don't even know what that is.
It's basically like, it's kind of like acupuncture or acupressure, and they're little tiny seed, like,
Oh, I have seen
that you
those.
put on your ears, and you put them like, it's basically like acupuncture, but
Yes.
you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
And you just put them on your ears, and it has like a chart. You can actually buy it from Amazon, and they have like a kit that comes with charts, and it tells you exactly where to put the ear seeds because they're little things, and they're supposed to really kind of help calm you down. I've never tried it before.
I haven't tried that, but it makes sense to me. I've had acupuncture on my ear before, on the needles in my ear. And the ear like represents the entire body and has all those meridian points. So, I mean, that could work. I mean, really though, we need to understand how to create it ourselves and maintain it. I feel like a lot of those things work while they're there, but we need to come back to who we are and that peace and calm that is our birthright, that's kind of in taken away from us with our lifestyle and with our conditioning and all of those things. And really, I think that when I look at it, I mean, I did a whole summit on pain and the root causes of pain. And I've got a podcast as well, Wellness by Design, where I interview people about pain. And it seems to me like there's some environmental things, but a lot of it is stress, and that's our perception of what we're experiencing. Mm-hmm. And so, so I think in the end, it's really us. We have to do everything we can to create that environment. And there's physical things we can do, but we need to address that, like the soul, spirit, emotional part of us, the mind and spirit part, where we're getting that calm, and so that when we do that, this physical body can actually heal.
I want to talk to you guys about stress for just a second. And I feel like I've been just juggling so many responsibilities, the endless to-do list. And I'm telling you, stress slowly infiltrates your life and it robs you of magnesium. So it's a vital mineral for your body. And it's this vicious stress magnesium deficiency cycle. So it's like, number one, stress strikes, then your body loses magnesium, then your sleep is kind of plummeted, and then more magnesium escapes your body. So I want to tell you, Magnesium Breakthrough, it has 7 forms of magnesium, which is really, really important. Most of them have 1 or 2 forms. I take 2 before bedtime every single night. If I forget it, I then can't sleep as well. So if you look at my sleep scores, they are amazing. That is one thing I really have dialed in. And I want you to go to magbreakthrough.com/wasteaway. Click on Waste Away for 10% off any order. And we have several people for a limited time only that are going to receive special gifts with purchase. So it's only available at magbreakthrough.com/wasteaway. I want to say something on that, because what you said was really powerful when you said it's the perceived stress. And really, I've heard some of my friends sometimes, like, they'll say things to me and I'm like, how's it going? And they're like, I am so stressed right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, tell me what's going on. And when they tell me what is going on, I'm thinking in my mind, this is not a big deal at all. Like, I can't even believe that you're stressed about this. And it's something like really kind of silly. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, like, I'll kind of talk them through, like, well, tell me, how does this make you feel? And try to be compassionate and all of that. But I'm thinking in my mind, I'm sure I tell them stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed because of A, B, C, and D. And they're probably thinking, like, that is really not that big of a deal. Why are you stressed about this? Like, this is nothing. And what you said is the perception or your perceived stress. And so if you perceive it to be like a level 10, my grandmother is going to be 102 years old.
Wow.
And the woman really does not worry. I've never met anyone who does not worry like her. And you can see, I mean, that's how you can live to 102, right? Because she really kind of, anything that is stressful, she talks herself out of being stressed. Like, okay, what's stress gonna do? What is me worrying about it? She kind of has some little tips that she does for herself. And when I ask her, she'll be like, okay, in 6 months, is this really gonna matter? Or in a year, is this really gonna matter? And all these little things that we worry about, most of them never even come to fruition, So I love the breath work that you talk about. I think that is just so, so important. What else mentally are you kind of doing and kind of walking people through to say, okay, let's talk them off the ledge? Because the things that I'm hearing you say that are the most powerful, like breath work being number one, that's free.
Yeah. It's all free. The another one that's super helpful, we talked about the stress and the perceived stress. So I love to say, get out of the story of whatever it is that's triggering you, whether it's a pain or whether it's, something going on in your life. Get out of it, kind of just like say, acknowledge like I'm safe, like, okay, I'm upset, but I'm safe. Right. Really, most of us are not safe. Maybe there's some crazy situations, but generally most of the stress that we're experiencing, it's not really making us unsafe. So like in this moment, I like to say this a lot of time is in this moment, I'm safe. Right. Mm. And then to get out of the story of it, I just say, so I teach the energy codes by Dr. Sue Morter. And one of the tools in that is take it to the body. So what we do is get out of the story and notice, where am I feeling that in my body? And a lot of us may not even know because we're so disassociated from our body. But for me, like that solar plexus area is where I tend to feel stress. Just think about it right now. Think about something that is stressing you. Okay, so get yourself, I don't usually say this, get yourself stressed. And now notice, where do you feel it in your body? Can you feel it in your body somewhere? Like, is it in your
Yes, I feel it in my head.
In your head?
My neck. My head and my neck. Okay,
yeah, that's a common one. So now just imagine that area that you're feeling it is just imagine that it was like a small child or a pet, and you could hug it from the inside. So imagine that you're hugging it from the inside, and just a feeling of like cherishing, compassion, caring for it. Like, okay, I hear you. I'm listening. I got you now. I got you now. So it's fine. And the breath work that we were talking about, just imagine as you're breathing that you're breathing into that area. So, or breathing through it. Like even in your neck, I might even imagine like a kind of like back and forth, like inhaling through it one way, exhaling the other way. Inhaling. So just make it up, your imagination. Imagine it, the breath, or it could be this way too, right? Or in all directions. So it could be like back and forth this way, or all directions, like you're radiating out as you exhale, pulling into your neck as you inhale with a loving feeling. I got you now. I notice, I hear you.
Well, I think your voice is so calming. So you have just a very calming voice, and you have a very calming energy about you, which is just, do you teach yoga classes yourself? Yeah. Like I was going to say, if you don't, you should, because you kind of have that energy and that vibe just comes through you. Well, we are out of time. I'd love for you to tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Well, my website is thewellnessengineer.com. I'm on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I think all those, if you search The Wellness Engineer, you should find me, but my handle is at Jane Hogan Health. And I'd love to connect with people there. And yeah.
And we'll put in the chat. Well, I'm not in the chat. We'll type in the show notes your free gift for your breath work as well. So thank you so much for that. Well, it's been amazing having you on the show. You guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.